Hey everyone, this is my mental health video that I have been saying I'm going to be doing for the last several months. It's been 9 months since I've made my last little mental health entry, I guess I should say. And this is part of the more than just wax. Um, yeah, I did my last mental health video in December, I think, shortly after I had my foot surgery last year. And at that time, I had just started seeing a new therapist, and you know, she's the best therapist I have ever had in my life. And I will never stop until the day that I die about talking about mental health, being an advocate for it, not being afraid to get help, and encourage others that it's okay to not be okay and it's okay to get help. I feel that that's one of my purposes here on this earth, and I'm constantly asking questions about what lessons am I supposed to be learning by the good things, bad things, the ebb and flow of life. And so the purpose of this video here is, I've said before, and especially if you watch this series, these are not easy videos for me to sit down and just let everything out. But I know that there are a lot of you out there who follow my channel, and a lot of you, maybe you don't follow my channel, but I think a lot of us, all of us have mental health struggles from time to time. Some of us have it daily, some of us have it fleetingly, seasonally, situational. But it's important that there's just always mental health awareness going on. So, those of you who follow me and watch my wax videos, you know that about a month ago, it'll be a month on Saturday, I lost an aunt of mine that was there for me literally since day one. She was at my mom's house when my mom's water broke with me, and she was able to take my mom to the hospital. My dad was at work. So she literally was there at day one. And her and my mom had always had a close relationship, especially since, my mom was the last one of her siblings to have a child, and my aunt was not able to have her own children. So naturally that bond, just developed with her and I. And I can't promise that I am not going to cry in this video. So just forgive me. I should have brought my tissues in, but I wasn't thinking about it. What I want to talk about today is, my mental health issues, what I'm working on in therapy. I'm doing something called EMDR therapy, and I don't remember the actual, what that means, but it's very well used in PTSD, in terminally ill patients, in a lot of things to help with trauma and to help with coping mechanisms. And what it basically does is depending on when your traumatic experience or traumatic experiences or part of life or whatever happened, what EMDR therapy does is it tries to go backwards and retrain the neurological pathways in your brain, to kind of bypass or not let that event affect you, trigger you, dominate you, basically. So, I have determined that a lot of my traumas happened when I was a young child, and not having the emotional nurturing and the bonding and love that was needed, that is necessary for us to grow up and one day have children and a family of their own, and keep that cycle going. And I am breaking the cycle. My mother's family is severely dysfunctional, severely toxic, and having that in my life, it's taken me almost 40 years to be able to see the toxicity and what that did to me in those years, when your mind is being, there's a reason why you learn a second language at a young age. You learn an instrument at a young age. Your mind is still impressionable. It's still able to learn those things. It's very impressionable. And where I'm going with that is, so my nerve pathways are 40, well, maybe 35, 36 years, 34 years long. So it's a work in progress. I have done a lot of reading about PTSD, CPTSD particularly. The Body Keeps the Score is a book about PTSD, CPTSD. There's different types of PTSD, but the complex is what I have. So I've been thinking a lot about some of the things I've been working on the last 9 months, really, since I did my last video. And along with some medication tweaks, many tearful episodes, a lot of looking in the mirror. The song Taylor Swift's Antihero. You'll look at the sun before you'll look yourself in the mirror. And that song, I'm a little too old to be a Taylor Swift fan, but she's got it. She knows what she's doing. She's amazing. That song Antihero is a song that I listen to probably 3 or 4 times a week, and it speaks to me. And one thing that has always been a constant in my life, the good times, the bad times, the isolated times, the fun times, has been music. And a little bit about me, I actually know how to play the piano and I know how to play the clarinet. I was assistant section leader when I was in high school in the marching band. I was in marching band for 4 years. I loved every minute of it. And I played the piano. And when my parents split when I was 16, I had to forfeit my piano. My piano is still at my dad's house, and it is a platform now where he feeds his cat because the dog can't get up that high to get the food. So that's my piano. I loved my piano. My piano was something I could sit down and just play the hell out of when things were hard at school, when things were hard at home. And music has always been important to me. And as when I met my husband, I've been with my husband for 12 and a half years. And my husband is, he is my soulmate in that regard because he has his own set of mental health issues, which I won't go into because it's not my story to tell. It affects me, but it's not my story to tell, so I am respecting and honoring him in that regard. But he learned to play the guitar when I don't know how old he was, if he was 13, 14, 16, 17, somewhere around there. And he loves Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd saved his life in a lot of ways, from, just giving him something to learn. My husband, when he wants to do something, he wants to learn something, he goes balls out. He just doesn't half-ass it. And he taught himself how to play guitar. He never had formal lessons or anything. And when I met him, one of the first songs he ever played for me was Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. And so I never cared or respected Pink Floyd because I did not really know anything about music. Really, I realized that up until, the last several years, I really am able to hear and listen to it on a different level. That I think you have to really be soul searching, really be looking deep inside yourself to really have music affect you in that way. And I know there's millions of us out there who music has saved. Music has stopped them from committing suicide and got them through deaths. And that's the point of this video, is my aunt was a second mother to me. And my aunt, having a complicated relationship with both of my parents at various times and sometimes at the same time. And I have been estranged from both of my parents at various times in my life. And I am not now. I have been able to work through things and break the cycle break that generational trauma enough to where I have a relationship with both of my parents. It's hard to have one across the country, but there is one there nonetheless. But my aunt was there for me in ways my mother could not be and did not know how to be. And that's nothing bad against my mom. My mom had a lot of things too that she was dealing with in her marriage with my father that I knew nothing about and did not need to know about. But I do understand it now as a grown woman, a married woman, and having stuff happen to her in my adult life and stuff. I understand. I see it through a different set of eyes. You know, I'm reading a book right now called Hello Stranger by Catherine Senner, and it's about a girl who, her father's a doctor, and she was in medical school, but then said, I don't really like medical school. I want to be an artist. And he basically disowned her and said, you're going to be poor, you're going to have a hard life, and don't come to me when you need help. You have to, you buried your grave, you have to lie in it, kind of a thing. And as she enters this contest that her mother, who has passed away, her mother entered the contest also, the same one. So it's kind of, you know, meant to be kind of situation. I just started the book, but the synopsis on the front inside of the cover, she has something happen to her. I don't know how, but she can see, but she doesn't have the ability to see facial features. And it's about teaching us that there's more than one way to see and there's more than one way to feel. So I thought, you know, I really wasn't ready to do this mental health video, but I thought, you know, the last ones I've sat down and filmed, especially my trichotillomania video from last summer, I didn't do a damn bit of research. I didn't do a damn bit of, I don't want to say, maybe not research, but I didn't write anything down. I didn't make notes. I didn't, you know, graph it in my head. So I just sat down and pressed play, and here we are. Starting that book tonight, I thought, you know, it must be kismet, or the universe is trying to talk to me in some way. I look to the universe, I listen to the universe, and the universe does talk to us. Whether that's, you know, if your universe is God, or your universe are the stars, or your universe is our earth, doesn't matter. It's all one thing. And so when my aunt passed very suddenly and very violently. And I was not able to go back to see her, and I really wasn't able to say goodbye to her. And my aunt and I, yes, we fought. Yes, we had our arguments. You know, I'm not unlike any other, you know, when I was a teenager and all that stuff, you know, the bickering between females and teenagers and that stuff. I was no different than that. But my aunt, she understood both of my parents and guided me and taught me a lot about things. And one thing she's told me her whole life is, you know, when I go, I do not want you to sit and be sad. I want you to remember me happy, and I want you to remember the good times, Ashley, because life is too short to be sad. And tomorrow is not promised. So, music. Since my aunt's passing, I really have been sitting down and journaling and, you know, talking to my husband just about in the stages of grief. I don't know where I am right now. This is the first time I have cried probably in 3 weeks, I think. So Pink Floyd and my husband. Probably around the time we got married, 5 years. It'll be 5 years next month, actually. And I wrote down the top 5 songs that speak to me the loudest in the world and really has made a profound impact on my soul. And especially in this time of grief is really when something clicked in my brain and I thought, you know what, those lyrics, the music, the genius behind the members of Pink Floyd, really, because for of my top 5 songs are Pink Floyd songs. And it's not just because my husband introduced me to them and I thought, oh, I don't know if Pink Floyd person. Pink Floyd, I'm not into all that stuff. There's a certain um, negative connotation. If you like Pink Floyd, you're automatically assumed to like other certain things in the world, and that's not necessarily true, because I'm not into those recreational things that a lot of Pink Floyd people are into or were into, especially when the band, and even Led Zeppelin too. Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant is beyond brilliant, and Roger Waters and David Gilmour of Pink Floyd are beyond brilliant. And the gift that those men were given is just in the fact that they were able to, the fact that the members of Pink Floyd were actually able to all meet in the world and create the music that they did, and the level of fame that they did. If our world is still here in 500 years, that music will be, it's timeless, really. So the songs that mean a lot to me are Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. That's my favorite song, number 1. Up until my aunt passed away, and I was I had my when I cook and bake in the kitchen, if Marty's not home or he's downstairs playing video games or something, I'll put my playlist through the television and I'll turn my music up real loud and I dance in my kitchen, and I just enjoy myself that way. And so I really, music is important to me. Music has helped me in more ways than I really know, and I'm really seeing it, and I'm really seeing how much music has helped me heal and has been a glue for me now in my life. And I think this is all of this is this cleansing. It's all part of breaking the cycle. It's all part of healing. It's all part of not being afraid to say the words, not being afraid to be vulnerable, not being afraid to ask for help, not being afraid to show emotion. And Wish You Were Here, oh my gosh. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. That's my favorite line of that song. When my aunt died, there's another song by Pink Floyd. It's called Learning to Fly. Roger Waters had left the band by that time, so David Gilmour he is amazing. And Learning to Fly is about flying, but you can also interpret the lyrics any way that you want to, really. I mean, read a book, interpret it one way. I mean, that's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of imaginations and the beauty in what makes all of us beautiful. We're all beautiful. Don't ever let anybody tell you you're not beautiful. Don't let anybody ever tell you your flaws are not beautiful. We are all beautiful, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I know it's cliche, but everything and everybody is beautiful. And I didn't get that until I really was able to embrace my trichotillomania. I was able to do the video I did last summer. That really, at that point, that was the catalyst that really made me think, I can do this. I cannot let depression and anxiety, I don't have to identify with that. That isn't my identity. That's not going to be, that's not what I want. I want to be me. I want to be me and the best person I can be every single day. And I have been damned if I don't try my hardest every day. I think maybe I didn't say that right, but I try my hardest every day. I work very, very hard professionally. I work hard in my marriage. I work hard with my family. And the toxicity, there's a lot of that. And you do what you can do with what you have. So, Learning to Fly was the first time I heard that song in a long time. And my aunt she's visited me a couple of times since she's died. And um, I know there might be some of you wondering, why are you saying all this in a video on YouTube, Ashley? But to each his own. This is something that is helping me heal and helping me understand why did she go the way that she did, because it doesn't make sense to me still. So Learning to Fly was the first Pink Floyd song I actually listened to after she passed away. And just David Gilmour's beautiful, perfect, immaculate guitar. It's from 1986. A momentary lapse of momentary, I forget the album name. I think that might be my favorite song, and that is this song that has been the most powerful to me the last month. I've listened to that song 75 times, I think, 80 times. Just play it on repeat, and it's talking to me. And the next one is Time. Time is a Pink Floyd song. I don't know what album it's on. I don't know the discography like my husband does, but Time is a song. Even if you don't listen to the song, just look at the lyrics. It's about, you wake up and 20 years has passed. Nobody told you when to run. You must have missed the starting gun. That's a lyric from that song. Time is precious, and time is something we are not promised. Even the healthiest people in the world pass suddenly, get cancer for no reason, tragedy happens. And the last Pink Floyd song that means the most to me is Fearless. And if you listen, it's not a well-known song, but the guitar riff in it is it's just gorgeous. And having, when I met my husband and, we were getting to know each other, and he said, "Oh, you can play the piano." I said, "Yes, but if you don't use it, you really lose it. Because if I sat down at a piano today, I really don't even know if I could do anything but Heart and Soul. Like, everybody can play Heart and Soul. I don't know. I've never had an opportunity to sit down and even try. If, the muscle memory just comes in, I don't know. But those 4 songs are the most impactful songs. And I'm trying to use those. Oh, and another one is Comfortably Numb. Everybody loves Comfortably Numb. So those are the 5 songs of Pink Floyd that is helping me in my life. And whether my aunt passed away or not, those are still I've been thinking about doing this video for months. And I don't have a script or anything like that. I'm just exposing myself, because I know that there are many of you out there like me. We ask ourselves questions all the time. Are we good enough? Are we beautiful? What am I not doing right? Is it not enough? What does he or she have that I don't have? Just all those questions. And I'm trying to get to a place of peace in my life with a lot of things from my past. My childhood past, I should say. And I don't remember everything I talked about in my last video, because it was, it was in December, I think. But if you're struggling, I'm here for you. Anybody can reach out to me at any time. We are all in life together. We're all just having a life experience. When I'm having a bad day, or I'm frustrated and I'm crying and I'm screaming, which I've done a lot of the last month for, various things I'm not going to discuss on here. But He says, you know, we're all just having a human experience, Ashley. We're all having a human experience, one day at a time. And that's what I've kind of adopted in my life the last couple of years is, you know, I'm experiencing life just like you. You know, we all, you know, most of the people that watch my channel are into wax and candles. And that's another thing. That's been another constant. And that's when I started doing mental health videos, albeit I only have a few, because these are not easy to do. I wanted to tie it into home fragrance and how perfumes and fragrances and candles and wax have been a constant in my life, and they've grounded me. Grounding is an important thing to do if you're struggling with, you know, instability, if you're having depressive or anxious moments or something. He's staying grounded, and you can be grounded by different things. I choose to be grounded by music, and I choose to be grounded by home fragrance. And I'm overwhelmed at the amount of people I've met. When I decided to start my channel 2 years ago, my intent was to give me an outlet to help when I'm really struggling with anxiety. You know, before I even thought about doing a channel, I would sit, my candle closet is over here, and I would sit and I would smell my candles. And I know there's a lot of you out there to do that. And that really was a form of therapy for me. And I thought, you know, I am so passionate about home fragrance. I'm passionate about perfumes, lotions, creams, skincare, health, you know. Yes, I have diabetes. Yes, I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Yes, I had Graves' disease. Yes, I have CPTSD, but I'm healthy. That's important to me to be like that. And those already having those diseases that I live day to day with, and I've learned to embrace and not resist. Just like I've learned to embrace my bald spot and not resist. Letting that go. I let it go. And now, if you watch me, you see my bald spot, and I'm not just completely letting it all out there, but at one time I would be so embarrassed to ever let anybody know that I pulled my hair out. And, you know, I do relapse from time to time with it. It's going to be with me until I die. I mean, it's just part of me, you know. And I would smell my candles or perfumes or lotions or creams, and that would help me. So I thought if I started a channel, then I could talk about how passionate I am and how it means a lot to me since, you know, I'm so happy our Creator gave us the ability to smell, you know, and to touch and to see and to hear, and all of our senses, you know. But scent speaks to our souls. Scent can transport us back to a good time or a bad time. But scent, we cannot forget what something smells like. I have several blends that I know I've smelled in my life, but I cannot access it. I can't. It's too deep in my brain. I just can't say, oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. There's several blends out there. And those are the blends that make me emotional. There's one from Teddy Bees. There's one from L3. There's one from Sassy Girl. And, you know, melting those, you have to learn to take the good with the bad. And if something makes you cry, it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean that you're weak. You know, I will say it again, you know, it's not weak if you need to talk to somebody. It's not weak if you're struggling with something. It's not weak. It's if you're able to look at yourself in the mirror and love yourself and accept yourself. You're not weak. You're stronger than you'll ever know. So the fact that my aunt has passed, and I will say I'm very I don't know if the right word is blessed or lucky or what it would be. I have not, this is the first person in my life this close to me that has passed away. Both of my parents are still alive. And my grandpa passed when I was 19 years old, and but your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25. So I think, my grandpap I only really knew for about 8 years, and he was blind. So my memories of him were going over to his house and listening to the radio with him with his polkas and AM radio. That's why I love AM radio. Yes, I am a 90-year-old man and I don't care. I love AM radio. The radio station, actually where I'm from in Pennsylvania, they stream their show online and I listen to it. Even if I just listen to the little jingles that they have, it just makes me think of my grandpapa and now my aunt, because she listened to AM radio too. And music, a radio station. There it is again. I never even thought about that. There's that. So I know this video might seem to not really have a purpose or really be coherent, but I wanted to sit down and I wanted to talk about the fact that I know that all of us, for the most part, we all are dealing with a lot of stuff. And our world is not easy. Our country is not easy. Our mental health is at an all-time high, uncontrolled level. And I know I have friends that struggle with anxiety. They have, they struggle with OCD, trying to maintain that perfect, that desire to be perfect, or that need to be perfect. What is perfect? Perfect, that word should not even exist, because really there is nothing that's perfect. The only things that really, in my opinion, need to be perfect are surgeries that you undergo to fix something in your body. That has to be perfect so it can work, the best it can, after whatever was broken was fixed, or you know what I'm saying. Perfect. We are not perfect. We are not meant to be perfect. We aren't perfect. And putting the stress and anxiety and the worry on ourselves to be perfect, to maintain a beautiful home, a picture perfect yard, perfect well-behaved kids, have manicured nails, a wonderful marriage, an intimate life with your spouse, best friends, perfect relationships with your siblings, your family, your neighbors, teachers at school. That's way too much stimulus and way too much shit in our life. There's way too much. And I've learned letting go. When I turned 39 in June. So this is my last year of my 30s. And when I was at the end of my 20s, I thought 20s were hard. My 20s were very, very hard. I had a lot of mental health breakthroughs, and a lot of mental health, just a lot happened. Self-induced. I went to therapy. I wanted to change. I wanted to get help. I didn't want to be a victim. I didn't want to live blaming everybody without looking at myself and taking accountability. So when my 30s came, I met my husband. I was 27, 28, 20, somewhere around there. And I hit my 30s. I was diagnosed with diabetes 2 days before I turned 30, so happy birthday. That completely changed my life. That my mental health took a huge hit with that, because I thought, I'm 30 years old, and that whole experience there, I learned, I respect medicine. I respect science so much. And I work in healthcare. That's another thing that's always going to be with me, is I respect science so much. And I'm always constantly reading and researching and just looking for, breakthroughs. And and different things. And I read a lot about mental health. I have a really good relationship with my psychiatrist. I have a really good relationship with my therapist. And you need, if you do choose to seek professional help, it's really important to find that person for you. And it might take you several therapists or psychiatrists, to find that fit. So if you are a person that needs help and you're nervous about, well, what if I don't like my therapist, or what if, we don't mesh, or what if, whatever, it's okay. That's normal. I mean, we all go through that when we're looking for that type of service. And and my therapist is not the first one I've been to in my life. She is the best one I've been to. But she came into my life right when I needed her. I really look at signs in the universe for that type of stuff. And so we're at the end of summer. We're getting ready to go into the dark, getting dark at 5 o'clock. And, it's been dark for hours. You look at the clock, it's only 8:30 because you think it's midnight because it's been dark forever. I hate wintertime in that regard. The darkness and just, ugh, but whatever, it's here. It's coming, I should say. Fall's here. There's a lot of sports, we watch football. We're going to football games coming up. We have that. And, but at the end of the day, Marty and I both help each other. We coach each other in terms of, hey, how are you doing? What are you struggling with today? How can I help you? And sometimes, unfortunately, we can't help each other. It just is something we have to work through. And I will say that my husband has taught me so much that I don't want to say I was stupid before I met him. That's not the right word to say, but I guess I was ignorant about a lot of things before I met him, and he has given me so much in my life, and I've given him. So I mean, it's just like we exchanged things. And if you have a relationship with your spouse like that, or you have a relationship with a sibling or a friend or something, hold on to that. That's so important. Hold on to that. Because even if you're having a stretch of good days, there will come a time when you're not having a good day. And you need to have that support. And, melting my favorite blend, smelling candle, making some tea. I love tea. Tea relaxes me. I burn incense too. Incense, depending on the blend of incense, is supposed to, if you believe in that, I can't think of the term right now, but like sandalwood means something, Nag Champa means something. If you look at that, if you and even your chakras, if you're spiritual with that, I should say. I do burn incense. I have incense in my home all the time. I love incense. I bought some incense at the state fair the other day. I had incense in my home when I was a kid. My mom burned it, and I love it. It's something that is just that's a grounding thing for me too. So I know I've went all over the map with talking about things tonight, but I felt the universe was telling me, just sit down and just do it, Ashley. Just sit down and do it. Because, even if one person watches this video, and if I can speak to your soul and I see you, I do. I see you. That's all that matters to me. So, with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the month, a beautiful fall, rest of the year. If you're struggling, you can reach out to me and talk. I'm more than happy to just listen. I do know that I'm very wordy, and I have a tendency to blabber on and on and on, but I also do know how to listen. Listening is a skill that one has to develop, and I am proud to say that I have that skill. I know how to listen. I listened for years of my life, and I didn't have a choice to. And I say that, in my youth, things that happened in my youth, I was always a listener. I wasn't really an active participant. I'm not going to explain what that means, but I just it just is what it is, I guess. But I hope everybody has, like I said, take the good with the bad, the ebbs and flows of life. Just try not to let the bad ones overtake you. So, hope everyone has a good evening, and I'll see you soon.